I
Can I
literally,
keep the background the way it is? I'm gonna have to, should I leave the background like that?
you can. It looks like a white wall behind you, and like you have like over there instead of your arm, so it works.
I'll keep it there. That's hilarious. When I'm on Zoom with my mom, like, and she just sees this, she's just like, what's so funny? Can you guys see it? Like when I'm smiling. So she'd be like, what's so funny? It's funny.
I usually have like my camera off, and I have a picture that I just changed my picture, but I just have my camera off. I can't deal with it.
No, that makes sense. I gotcha. Whew. How are you, by the way? Thank you for inviting me to do this interview. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for coming. We appreciate you.
No, I always get excited.
Also, before we start, I am a New York native as well.
Oh, shout out to you. What part of New York?
I'm from the Bronx.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you got strong right now. Cardi B just went #1.
Is she really for Up?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't know she went #1.
Who said what #1?
Yeah, I didn't know she went #1.
Yeah, she went #1. She's you guys are doing really strong. I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Bobby Smurder just came back home, so we're doing strong too.
I think it's just the New York boroughs as a collective, you know. We just all up. All right. I'm gonna go on ahead and get started. Hello, guys. Hello, my name is Kayla Grant. I am a graduate of the illustrious Clark Atlanta University, and I will be moderating your session today from the amazing state of New York, period.
Nice. Atlanta now, so
yeah.
Size.
So today we have Gabrielle Amani, who is a young entrepreneur who established herself as a CEO, marketer, and influencer. As an amazing Brooklyn native, she has always been inspired by music, entertainment, and fashion, leading her to co-found Me Feeder magazine with her mother, Simone Clark. With over 140,000 followers, her magazine is one of the leading digital magazine platforms to date. The magazine keeps millennials and Generation Z engaged and invested. After recently relocating to Atlanta, Gabrielle and her staff are working toward the further expansion of MythEater. So let's all give her a nice little warm CAU clap, virtual. Thank you for coming. I'm so glad you're here. So we can just like jump right into it with the first question. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Awesome. So what song or movie would you use to describe your life during the pandemic and why?
Woo. Good question. You said you're a journalist major. That was a great question. I was so depressed. I'm trying to think of a depressed movie. Uptown Girls. I don't know if you guys ever watched that movie. It was with Brittany Murphy. Rest in peace. And she started off really strong. And then I think both of her parents died or something really traumatic happened in the movie. And that happened to me 2 weeks. I experienced death during the pandemic, and it just really rocked through my world. I was super depressed. And I guess like an unlikely friend helped her through it. She became a nanny because I think once her parents died, she became broke. And wow, same here. I feel like the pandemic definitely hurt my pockets a lot. And, so she had to switch gears, get a job. She never worked a job before. For myself, I didn't have to get a job, but I had to get really creative and start new revenue streams. And, I found myself relocating. So at the end of the movie, she finds inner peace. And I feel like at the end of the pandemic, I also found inner peace.
That's awesome. So speaking of the pandemic has been seen as such a hindrance by many people. You know, we can't travel, we're not in school, just so many different things that are happening and going on. So how has this pandemic kind of affected you personally?
This pandemic at first started off really rough for me. Locked hard. Like my birthday's in April, so we locked down like I think 2 weeks before my birthday. So that was really crushing to me because I was planning like a big 25th for myself, and I had a client who owned a restaurant, so we were planning it. But I would say towards the end, I guess I felt the question is, how did I feel after the pandemic?
Well, just during the pandemic and how it basically overall affected you.
I feel like it affected me in a real positive way because we couldn't stick to our original plan because, the pandemic happened in early 2020. So essentially it wiped out a full year.
Yeah.
So for me, I would say in the beginning, definitely devastated. In the middle, started picking up ground. Towards the end, feeling very like excited about 2020 because in my mind, 2020 was so rough. If you saw any type of success, I think that was just a telltale sign to keep going. Because the truth is, what 2020 taught you was you can't like sit on shit and stuff anymore. You have to be resilient and you have to push through even your own mental capacities. Because a lot of times we mentally, don't get things done. But 2020, you really couldn't get certain things done because you couldn't go outside. You didn't have the same access. You couldn't do events. You couldn't tour. So I think for me, like my overall like feeling from it was quite good. Like, it really pushed me. If it wasn't for 2020, I would have never moved to Atlanta. And I'm very happy for that move. So I feel 2020, I guess, leaving it very positive and then also leaving it more fearless because before 2020, I was super nervous about everything I did. Like, I didn't want to do a lot of stuff. So, I was so scared to drop anything, do anything new, rock the boat. But now it's like, you got to now because you never know what can wipe you out.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I feel that so hard. You don't even know. So, how have you been able to keep yourself motivated during those times?
You know what? I guess the motivation came from like being like self-sufficient. I guess, I was motivated by just being able to move forward because I felt so still for so long in 2020. And even before 2020, it's not like 2020 brought all new problems. 2020 for me actually made problems that was already there. Just you can't hide them. You can't hide them because you're not partying. So I can't drink the problems away. I'm not seeing my friends. I can't laugh the problems away. So it was like for me, 2020 was like very like, oh, like these are your issues. You bet this is the worst part of it, and this is where the solution could be. So I feel for me, it was just staying motivated was just, every small goal was a win. Every small win was a win. So it doesn't matter how small or how big or how small it was. Like I was just excited to just get a point across or get a goal across. So I guess what kept me motivated was just truly moving forward and just knowing I didn't want to stay in the same spot.
Awesome. So, you attended the Fashion Institute of Technology in obviously the great state of New York. What did you learn from attending that institution and how did it help shape who you are today?
To be honest, I feel like it helped shape me a lot because before that school, I went to Hunter, which is also in New York. And I also went to City Tech, which is also in New York. So City Tech is, I went there for engineering. Hunter, I went there for journalism. And FIT, I went there for marketing. So for me, FIT, funny enough, I transferred to FIT not because I wanted to, but because I needed to. I was at a job. I was working on Wall Street at the time because I started working really early. I was working at Wall Street at the time, and I did not know what I was doing. I was a social media manager, but I got a very early promotion. But this was like one of those promotions that didn't come with the pay, but still came with the workload. Because unfortunately, that's what corporate does sometimes. They'll upgrade you and give you a better office and a better title with no money. And at that time, I didn't know that was the wrong thing to do. So for me, I needed more marketing under my belt. I didn't know my job. I was marketing director, but I didn't have a lick of marketing knowledge. So I went to FIT. I enrolled in their marketing, advertising school. And honestly, it was probably the best decision I made because when I went to FIT, I learned about your target audience. I learned about a SWOT analysis for my communication majors or my advertising majors. I learned about all these different things that I actually, instead of just using it for my Wall Street job, I used it for my business because I started my business at 17, 18. So it was like fun for me. But then I'm like, wait, there's actually something missing in the market. There's nothing for Gen Z. There's nothing for millennials, especially Black women who love luxury, who love fashion, who love music. Our Black men had a lot of music magazines. They had Double XL. They had The Source, but there was like no Black women targeted. magazines for music. Our white counterparts, they had a lot of fashion magazines. They had Vogue, Glamour, Nylon, the list goes on. Teen Vogue, even the age groups had things, 17. Everyone like had every demographic was spoken to except for like young Black women and even our LGBT. So I was like, dang, we have Essence, we have Ebony, but that's older. That's like our mother's magazine. Maybe for some of our younger alphas and Gen Zers, that could be your grandparents' magazine. But there was like nothing in the market at that time to like speak to Black women ages 18 to 36. And I said, yo, this is what meth can be. So I literally switched around the entire marketing plan, our target demo. I switched that out. And then I started creating content for our audience, and it changed my whole life.
That is amazing. Can you speak to you starting a business as a young Black woman? How was that like?
So I feel like I fell into it, because I started with friends. And at first it was a blog. It was nothing we really took serious. But my dream in life was always to be an editor in chief. I looked up to Anna Wintour. I looked up to Elaine. It's funny because I'm cool with Lindsay Peoples, but even her, like I like her a lot. Lindsay People, just left Teen Vogue to go to the Cut. And I always wanted to be editor in chief of a magazine. At first, I wanted to be a fashion journalist. I love fashion. But then I realized my personality, I want to be the boss. I don't want anyone telling me what to do. But then I realized even Anna Wintour has a boss. I don't want even that person telling me what to do. So as we were coming up with this blog, I just felt in my soul it could be more. And my friends, everyone went their own way. Some people got fired because, how we got to do it. And then some people, they stayed or whatever. But for the most part, I just saw opportunity in that. And every time I would apply for a job, I would always put it as like, this is my work. If you want to see my writing, or if you want to see my social media skills, and they'll be like, this is your work? This seems really big. Like, what is this? Why are you applying for jobs? Like, this is so cool. But I didn't really understand business then. I just knew I wanted a job. So once I really sat in it and like life started hitting me, and I'm like, no, I want to do this for myself. I want to do this for my community. It was like the old me, because I started it for fun as a young person. But as I was getting older in my younger adulthood, like 21, 22, I was like, no, this could be something big if I really commit to it.
So can you talk more to co-funding your magazine with your mom? Like, how has that been for you? Like working with your mom and working on building this brand, and how has that been?
Really hard. I won't lie to you guys. My mom and I are really good mother-daughter. But when it came to me being the boss, my mom is the boss of the family, but I'm the boss of the company. So we clashed a lot in the beginning. We clash now. So I think for us, we had to realize, how do I work with my mom? How do I work with my daughter where I don't diminish her light? I don't um, mentally age her, right? Because she's my mom. Sometimes like, okay, mom says that's the way we gotta go. But that's not always the way we have to go, because my mom has different talents than I have. So it was a way of, how do I re-see my mom as a partner and not a mother? How do I re-see my daughter as a partner and not a daughter, not a child? Because I'm only 25. So sometimes my mom, especially in the past, she would think like this is the right way to go. And as a 21-year-old, I'm like, okay, I don't know anything. Yeah, mom, let's do it. And it didn't necessarily work out the way we planned it. And it's because this isn't really her forte. My mom was a principal. You know what I mean? She knew education. She knew underwriting. She knew math because that was her background, but she wasn't a creative. I was a creative. So it took me a while to really come into my own, because I didn't want to step on my mom's toes. I still don't. But now at this point, I have to, because it's for the betterment of the company. So that relationship was really hard. Like, it was not a walk in the park, because I'm an Aries. I'm a fire sign. My mom's a Cancer. She's very sensitive. I'm very fiery. So I can just be going, and she's internalizing everything, and just her feelings are hurt. And that doesn't always work for our work dynamic. It worked when we were younger because, whatever your mom says goes, it goes. It's nothing you can really argue with. But for me, I had to really meditate. And honestly, sometimes I'm like, yo, we need to see a therapist, not because we don't work well together, but there's definitely room for growth. So it is hard starting with your mom and or a family member or a partner, a friend, anyone you have a previous relationship with. I mean, we're still growing, we're still understanding it. But I will say, like, if I can do it all over again, I would come to her with better, like, more roles like planned out, because a lot of times too my mom and I will just take both everything and we'll just do it our way, but sometimes communication isn't there, and then there's a lot of breaks there. And remember, we have a team, so our communication isn't tight as the heads. That means everyone else is kind of struggling too, because they're only as strong as the head, you know. And then shoot, you're also as strong as your weakest link. So if we're weak on top, the bottom's totally going to be weak as well.
So speaking of your like roles and things that you do at work, what are your day-to-day activities when you're running your magazine?
It really varies. It really varies with the cycle. So depending on what we're doing, for example, we rolled out like a Nike campaign today. So that means all day we're going back and forth on wording. We're going back and forth with the agency that hired us to make sure that we have it right. A few weeks ago, we shot a cover, which we're like hinting at because it's coming out this week. And that means prepping for the cover, finding clothes, making sure the photographer has what they need, selling the cover. Sometimes you want a lot of way magazines get paid is through editorial alignment or sponsorship. So, you know, pairing it with the right sales team or the right partner so we can sell that cover, the editorial alignment. A lot of the day-to-day shifts, especially as an entrepreneur, but this job is so hectic. So not every day does not look the same. Like even this today, I have an interview, so I had to like stop everything I'm doing, prepare for the interview. So it's like every day is different. It's hectic, but thank God for my team, because without them, I don't even know how I would do half the stuff I do. Because for me, because MedFeeder has so many different parts, from the social to the website to the sales to the creative, it's so much going on. Like you have to put your newsletter out. You need content going out consistently on the website, content going out consistently on the social media. You need to be selling consistently. We do events. So that means we got to prepare for events. We do covers. We got to prepare for the covers. And then those bigger projects that we're building to, we have to make sure everything's aligned. So when we drop this major project, it hits. So it's a lot. Day to day is definitely different. But I would say my daily routine, if I could put something on paper, wake up, answer emails. I have like 4 meetings in during the day with the different teams every other day. We speak with whatever project we're working on. We speak with the head of that project, and then all of the workload just kind of trickles down from there.
Awesome. And when you were just talking about, you just actually brought up the Nike campaign. So can you talk about acquiring those advertisements and maintaining relationships with these big brands?
So it's interesting. A lot of companies don't necessarily work directly with you. They work through an agency. So essentially what we get are RFPs. Those are requests for proposals. They tell us what they're doing, what activation they're planning for, and then they ask us how we can amplify it, how we can make it better through ads on the website, ads on social, editorial alignment, so write-ups, and then any other big idea. So for that, you would plan out a deck. Some people do a treatment, some people do a media plan, some people do a regular PDF, and you would essentially sell your idea. If they like it, you guys have a conversation, maybe a month. Sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes it's 1 week, sometimes it's 6 months. It depends on how big that check is, and then you guys are working it out. You can also secure partnerships or sponsorships by reaching out directly to people. So if you have something you're selling, say, hey, this is what's on our media kit for this year or this quarter. We're sending you that we're doing this cover for Mother's Day. We're doing this activation with Clark Atlanta. If you want to be a part of it, these are what we're offering you to be a part of it. So it's how do you maintain those relationships? Calling them. A lot of these people become your friends over time. They become good associates, doing a lot of favors. I'm like hosting something for my friend next week. Apparently, like Sweetie's manager is going to be on it, and like I think some other great people. So, you know, he's someone that we get money together. So I'm going to do him this favor, because when you make money with people, you want to keep them happy, because essentially this is a relationship business. Most businesses are, but this one for a fact is. Like sometimes getting the deal over another just means I like her more. I like him more. I had dinner with her daughter last week. Like sometimes it can be that simple.
So let's go back to you like really building your brand and making your web magazine what it is today. How did you build your social media presence for your brand?
So for our social media, oh,
We lost you.
sorry, I got a call. Let me put myself on do not disturb. One sec. Wait, okay, here we go. All right, sorry about that. So, how do we build a social media presence? So we've been out for a while, right? So we've been out since I was 17, I'm 25 now. So that's about 8 years. So essentially we just stayed consistent for like 8 years. I mean, granted, maybe we stayed consistent for 5 and that's where we got the 100K. But with social media is consistency. You want to be known from something and you want to do it consistent from the moment you start to the moment you finish. So building it was really identifying our target demographic. How do they like to be spoken to? Things they like to see. What are we missing in our market? And then also, how do we package it in in content that's extremely tasteful and digestible? And you'll just see the followers come in, but you have to find your target demographic and you have to stay consistent. And then also too, you have to bring something a little different to the market. I mean, look at Shade Room. Shade Room took out media takeout. You know what I mean? Media takeout wasn't on social, they were online. But they knew their demographic really well and they knew how to hit them. Social Instagram was hitting, it was doing really well. And you can see their content is better digested on Instagram rather a Twitter. So it's like you got to also know like your marketplace. Like, you know, we do way better on IG and Twitter than we do with Facebook. But then I'm a Shade Room, they do really well on Facebook. You know, you have to understand the landscapes. For us, I'm noticing that Facebook does really well with Facebook groups. So the way we're hitting Facebook, it can't be the way we're hitting Instagram. We have to make it more group. We have to make it more community. Clubhouse just came out. How do we grow our Clubhouse? Now that's making it more community. That's making it more interactive. So you just have to also adjust to the landscape because the social media has changed all the time. So don't get stale. Adjust to what you're seeing in your market.
So what advice would you give to young entrepreneurs who are trying to start their own publication or maybe have dreams of starting their own publication?
I would say solidify your revenue plan out the gate. That was something that we did not do because I started this as friends. It was fun. Our revenue plans came in later, but solidify your revenue plan out the gate. Make a merch alongside your brand. That's something we're working on as well because you want to sell something alongside your brand. Pair it with something. A lot of media companies aren't media companies anymore. Like if you look at a Glossier, they're makeup now. If you look at who else is a cool media company? If you look at the Shade Room, they're doing production, they're doing TV. If you look at like who else is a media company? A Vice has TV, they have HBO, they have a partnership with HBO. They bought up a lot of other smaller brands. They really are building a conglomerate. So you have to really look at like where media is going and don't think in the past, think towards the future. So if you're going to get into media, I would say really have a strong brand identity and make sure your revenue plan is tight out the gate.
So as we all know, and especially you, it takes time to really start your own business and for it to be successful. So what obstacles did you face that helped you or your publication become what it is today?
Man, we had so many. I mean, there was a point where we were like suspended on Twitter, and because of that, our Instagram grew. There was a time when 2020 hit, so all of our events and launches went out the window. So we had to get really creative on web. You know, I would say my biggest challenge of growing my business was really from the inside, like not necessarily having the experience or having all of the knowledge. So not being confident in my choices. So I would say as you build your business, build your inside too. Don't just focus on your business, focus on your inside healing. Make sure you're very happy where you're at because I really feel like my business reflects me. Like I feel like my business is doing the best when I'm mentally doing the best. I feel like my business is doing the worst when I'm mentally not doing the worst. Be ready to because you're going to take a lot on as a business owner. There's going to be a lot of highs, a lot of lows, and it happens sometimes in the same day. I'm really happy we landed this Nike campaign, but then you know we have a shoot tomorrow and a lot of chaos is happening. So at the same time, I'm happy, but I'm not like ecstatic because I still have to focus on something that's for tomorrow. So just really manage expectation and manage your highs and your lows. A lot of creative people have issues with depression, and that's because we feel so heavily. So really try to get that in line. I know for me, I had to because I was like depressed all the time in the beginning. So really focus on your inside growth. If you're spiritual, make sure your spirituality is tight. If you're more logical and you need to, whatever you do, make sure it's tight, because your business, in my opinion, is a direct reflection of yourself.
So you just tap into that, especially with mental health being so important in the Black community. Given everything that is happening in the world and in the Black community, how are you able to find joy? How do you prioritize your mental health and your self-care?
That's a great question. I love it. Your follow-ups are amazing. Let me see. They change. It changes a lot, depending on where I'm at in my spirituality. Because, one thing I couldn't hide from myself, I'm young. I'm a woman. I don't know everything, and I'm learning. I'm hitting a lot of personal milestones while I'm hitting business milestones. So for me, I had to really learn separation, because I used to have a bad habit of, like, every time I had a new friend, they had to work with meth with me. That was really bad. So just finding that separation, um, for my mental health, because depression runs in my family. Like I said, I've been depressed. I felt that. For me, it's about really managing expectations and really understanding where you're at. You're never as good as they say you are. You're never as bad as they say you are. So really understanding self, where you're at, where you want to go, and also having your alone time. I'm an intro extrovert. I love people, but people really drain me. And I'm around people every single day because of my company. So taking that time to yourself, running a company is a lot. You're dealing with a lot of emotions. You're dealing with a lot of different people. A lot of fires have to be put out. So I had to adopt a level head, because I was spicy. I was the girl that got into your face in high school. I was like, I was spicy. I'm from Brooklyn. So I had to like learn how to like pull that back and be level headed, be understanding, see where people are coming from, really become mature, and just really take time for myself, because I can't be available all the time, 24/7. I just can't. I tried it, set me straight to just, I was so depressed. Like, I just cannot be available all the time. I have to take time for myself. So for me, it was taking time for myself, separating people, putting them in boxes, and separating my work from my regular life. Now, once 9 hits, I'm done. I'm done. You can't hear from me. But when 6 in the morning hits the next morning, you'll hear from me because I wake up really early. But once 9 hits, I'm done.
That's honestly something that I see like more of the younger generation journalists putting into effect, their like boundaries. I feel like we've been so conditioned to have to go, go, go. Like you have to be the best, especially because we're always seen as less than what we're worth. So everyone's conditioned to, even though we have to give 120%, they're conditioned to always work, always be available, and not really take time for yourself, which is why mental health is so huge in the Black community. Where I'm so glad that you said that, because it's very important, since we've been doing like every advice or someone who's come to talk to us has always been telling us to set boundaries. And I feel like the younger generation is starting to set them early, so that, yeah, we're going to do 120 and you can reach me at 9 to 5. Like, like we have our boundary set, which is something I think that we learned now, seeing how people above us have struggled through their work.
Absolutely. There's a saying, smart people learn from their mistakes, wise people learn from the mistakes of others.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of that, as young journalists coming out of college that may not get their dream job right after they graduate, what is some advice that you would tell them to work towards their goal?
Hang in there. I mean, I don't think you're going to get your dream job out of college. Most of us don't. I would say hang in there. Work, grind, find out what makes you special, what makes you special to your market. Find out your special sauce. You can't jump out of college and just have, I mean, some people do. They have special sauce out the gate, but hang in there, live life. I mean, to be fair, what makes you you are your experiences. So just experience life, and make sure you're doing a good job wherever you are. And if there's, maybe you want to start something, but don't put that pressure on yourself to land a dream job right after school. especially because things are competitive. The journalism industry isn't the way it used to be. There's not as many jobs. A lot of journalists, they end up working for TV, production. Some are copywriters. I mean, just, yeah, be easy on yourself. Please do not put that pressure, because I did the same and it was very hard on me. Don't put that pressure.
So with all of your accomplishments, who influences you the most to become who you are today?
Mm, I would say my mom. I would say my dad. I would say my friends. I would say my family, my brothers and sisters, my mentors. Like, I have to go back to my friends. I feel like all my friends that I'm with now really see me through like a lot of different stages in my life. Some are newer friends who haven't seen me as a teenager or as a young adult, and they see me more as the woman I am today. But I would just say, like, the people I've come in contact, I feel like everyone served the purpose. And there was some pain, absolutely, but the pain was so beautiful at the end because it taught me something. So yeah, I would really say my mom and my family and just everyone who's just like either supported or even hated on me. Because even though, like, yeah, I hate and I hate, I hate having beef with people, but at the end of the day, like, I feel like hate is just a twisted version of love. So it's like they hate you, but in a sense, to have that strong feeling for someone, it's like it's really because it was love there, or there's some twisted version of love there. So yeah, I would say the people around me really shaped me. And then I feel like I shaped me and God did, just really taking everything with a grain of salt and not being so hung up on where I think I should go because of what I see everyone doing. Realizing that this is my journey, speak it loud, be proud of it, stand in my own 2 feet and not really care what people think. I think that took me a while. I always wanted to put an image out, but now I'm just like, F it. Live you, do you. You know what I mean? Because look at all the women and men that are doing them and they're eating because of it. I mean, there's a reason why influencer marketing is so huge. I mean, there's so many people that live their lives out on the big screen and they're judged for it. But when you think about it, a lot of them are satisfied because they're themselves every single day. And I just, I don't want to live behind a curtain anymore. I just want to be me. So I would say those things.
So how do you find creativity, like your sources of creativity? So when you're on a mental block or when we're all stuck in the house for a year, how do you find sources of creativity to inspire you to do the work that you love to do?
I get inspired by people. Like, I love people that just live their lives unapologetically. I get inspired by nature. That's why I moved to Georgia. I needed to get out the city. I wasn't going to the park the way I used to, things like that. I get inspired by my family, especially my older family, like my grandparents. I'm Panamanian and Jamaican. So, like, I love hearing their stories and I love their accents. And I just love the way they think because it's so differently from mine, but it's just so cool to me. Um, and I think I get inspired by like my children. I don't have kids, but I want a family. So I think about like how am I making like my children proud? Because I know they're probably in heaven, like waiting to be born. And then I also think about the younger me, like would 17-year-old Gabby be really proud of me right now? And I actually think she really would. Like I think she would be proud of me. Like living, I'm living on my own and I moved to a different state. I think because I'm the oldest of 7 kids, I think I always had that, like, I gotta win, I gotta eat. I got so many people watching me, but, once I let all that go, I'm like, yeah, I think young Gabby would be really proud of me. Like, your dream was to be an editor in chief of a magazine and now you own one and you're just expanding, expanding, expanding. So I think the younger me would be really proud. So I think about her a lot. I read like my old journals and my old diaries. I think about her a lot.
So let's get into that. What advice would you give 17-year-old Gabby now, but personally and professionally?
17-year-old Gabby, she was a monster. I would say be easy on your mom. I was so hard on my mom when I was 17. Be easy on your mom. Stop being such a bitch. Because I was a monster. um, you know, don't let the hard times get to you. I took things so hard. Oh, goodness. Sorry. I thought I put my phone on do not disturb. People are still calling me. Um, don't take the hard things so hard. Don't give up. I had a dream school in London I really wanted to go to, and I only needed 13,000 to go, and I didn't ask anyone for help. So don't give up. Ask people for help. Um, and be flexible. Not everything is so black and white. Like, see the gray areas too.
So, throughout your journey in the journalism world and just in general, what are some things that you've learned about the industry that was not taught in school?
Good question. So many things. I mean, when I went to journalism school, they taught us like the New York Times way to write. And when I started my company, I realized, ooh, that's just for the New York Times. A lot of us aren't writing like those type of like articles. So I would say, man, I would say it didn't teach me to be flexible, I will say. I think that's something you just learn along the way because there's so many different things you could do. Like, I've been on red carpets, I've edited, I've wrote, of course, social media. So I would say just be flexible. They didn't teach me that. And I guess I will say they teach you how to be a good, like, whatever your profession is, you're a good professional. But if I could go back to school, I would love to take some business classes and I would love to take accounting because that's something I did not know. I did not know taxes. I did not know credit. I did not know loans. I did not know grants. So some of those things, I mean, I wasn't in the profession for that, but dang, if I could go back to school for like business or if there's an entrepreneurship class, I really would because those are things that you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. They did not teach insurance. This is a lot I would love to go back for. But for me, it's because I own a business. As a journalist, mm, yes, yeah, I would just say like to be flexible and also to just know your market. Like I say again, because it's just a different market now. There's not the same type of jobs there were before. So just be flexible because you might not necessarily be a writer. You might be someone who's corresponding, more broadcast journalism. You might be a YouTube correspondent because there's a lot of like up and coming media companies that are starting YouTubes or have successful YouTubes. I would also say as a journalist, pick up videography, pick up graphic design. Those are two things I feel like we pay so much for. So I would pick those up. Because imagine you know how to interview and you know how to edit. Like solid. You're literally like wow, you're perfect. Because videographers are always needed because we're seeing the market go into content creation. So everyone is just content creation, creating like crazy. So everyone needs a videographer, everyone needs a graphic designer, everyone needs a photographer, and of course everyone needs marketing. But I would say, like, if I'm a journalist, I would totally learn how to use a camera. I would learn it because you can even start your own interview series that you put on YouTube that goes crazy because you know how to edit, you know how to interview, personality. And another thing I would say, and because they probably didn't know this, also learn your personality, become a personality and a journalist. Like I notice a lot of people on Twitter that get those big stories, they're like journalist personalities. Like they write stories, but they also have a social media presence. So build your social media presence as well as a journalist because it really helps for getting a job because everything's about clicks and views. So if you have the power to get 1,000 views because it's just you, they're gonna hire you.
So, we're looking at the future of journalism, and what are your hopes for the future of journalism and for the future of your business specifically?
Well, I hope for the future of journalism, I hope to see like a big renaissance of Black media. I want more Black owned media companies and I want them to be like competitive. I want us to compete with like NBC, ABC, and CNN. So I would say I would love to see that for journalism. And I would love to see more connection of the Black diaspora. So like I would love to see like news companies feature like segments on like Nigeria, Senegal, Haiti, the Brits, our Black Brits, all of that. Like I would love to see like journalism go more international because that's the way the economy is going. I would love for media to like mirror economy, especially in America. Our media is so domestic. We don't really know what's going outside of America unless you're on social media. They really pound stories to the ground. So I would like to see like a heavy influx of like strong Black media companies companies that are getting those dollars, us being one of them. And then I would like to see more connection in the African diaspora. Like, I want to know what's going on in Haiti and not be told about it because my friend's from Haiti. I want to know what's going on in Nigeria and Senegal and all over. And I want us to connect because there's so much Black people on the planet. We're just spread around. You know what I mean? And sometimes it feels like it's not, but we actually have the numbers. We're just not concentrated. You know, we're in the Caribbean, we're in the DR, Dominican Republic, or Puerto Rico, or Panama, or all the Latin countries. We're in Canada, we're in England, we're in France, we're in Spain, we're in all of Africa. Like, we're all over. We're just not, well, we are concentrated in Africa, let's be real. But it's just, I would like to see more of the connection of the African diaspora. And then for meth, I would like to see us, like, even though we're media, I would like to go in other avenues. I want really solid merch. I want really solid events. Like, I'm really planning like some really dope events. I want to like have like what Essence Fest has, or Essence has with Essence Festival. I want that for meth. I want us to get into production, maybe some TV up in the future. I want our company to be very similar to a Vice or a Milk. Milk has Milk Makeup, they have Milk Studios, they have Milk Productions, and they have Milk Magazine. So I want to see meth more as like a lifestyle conglomerate that has pieces that that align with like Black women, Black LGBT youth, et cetera, et cetera. And then, yes, and I want to be one of the big Black media companies. I want to rival, I want to be competitive. So yeah, that's what I want.
I'm going to go to some of the questions from the viewers. So Ashley Pitt asks, what is some advice that you would give new journalists coming into the industry?
Gotcha. Do we answer this with you, or should I just read?
I think just because, yeah, I would just answer it one more time. Just like,
oh yeah, of course, I got you. Well, once again, okay, let me see if I can give some different advice. I would say just really focus on your social media presence. Really bring, when you're writing your piece, come with a style and come with like a social media presence with it. Because the way they're hiring journalists that's not staff.
Oh, we lost her. While we're here waiting, Ashley, I'm pretty sure like the rest of your questions I already asked, except for the last one. And Diamond, I think I asked yours too.
Yeah, I had sent them in like on the earlier in the interview.
Yeah.
So I
didn't
answering some of them.
I copied and pasted before I copied and pasted to my Google Doc before I even like read it for real. So I skipped the first one and I thought the second one was good, and then I read it. I was like,
Where'd she go?
I don't know. She just disappeared. I was waiting for her to come back. I was about to ask that, Kiana. Don't even, girl. You already know I'm on it. I already have. That's gonna be my last question. I'm gonna ask her like how to, if and when she comes back. Darian, pause the recording.
I lost my face. Okay, well, this is my house. Oh shoot! And now my stand is not staying up. Okay, there we go.
The world is plotting against us.
Sorry about that. What was that? Okay, so back to the question that Ashley asked. So I was just basically saying, really just focus in on your special sauce and really build your social media presence, because that's how they're hiring a lot of journalists. If you're not staff, get a really good internship where you want to go and really build with your supervisor so that they keep you on and they hire you, and just try to get as much experience as you can. And honestly, get your own interviews, start a newsletter. A lot of journalists now, I notice, they're interviewing on their own and they're starting a newsletter. And some journalists actually interview on their own and they submit it, or they write things on their own and they submit it to certain magazines just to build up their portfolio. So get creative.
So speaking of interns, for your magazine, do you take interns? What would you look for in an intern, et cetera, all of that great stuff?
We do take interns. We actually, we do, our interns are on a semester. So they actually get college credit for our internship. So we have I think it's called the winter semester is going on. It's over in June. And then we hire for the summer semester. So yeah, we take interns. And then what do I look for intern? Okay, so I'm actually not over the interns. I won't lie. Like you guys would have different supervisors and different leads, but they've been my team for a while, so they're trained really well. So in an intern, I'm looking for diversity. I don't necessarily love when someone's just good at one thing. I like people that are good at different things. I'm looking for diversity, even where you're from. Like we have an intern from South Africa, which I love because she's writing South African related stories. We have an intern in Paris and she's writing Black French stories. And I love it because I really think we need to start bridging the gap for the diaspora. I look for girls that are smart, and guys, we have some guys on the team too. I look for girls and guys that are smart, that are go-getters, respectful. I like people who have tenacity and like a good personality to them because I'm gonna be working for you. I want to like you. I look for people who are, they're creative. They don't necessarily take like one thing as that's it. They look for solutions. And I like people that put their best foot forward, that prefers excellence over mediocre. I hate mediocre. So people that prefer excellence, because some people prefer mediocre and it's cool, but I don't like mediocre. So that's what I would say.
So, how did you build your team? This is a Kiana Stevenson question.
Okay.
How did you build your team? I know you mentioned being friends, but how did you pick up more professionals along the way?
So a lot of professionals wrote to us because they saw what we were doing, they liked it, so they wanted to be a part of the team. So that's how we built a lot of our team. And then after some time, then we said, okay, we want to start going after people. So I would actually reach out to people I'd like to stalk. So I would look at people who I had my eyes on, like, she's kind of good. He's kind of cool. And I would reach out to them and enlist them that way. And then with some other people, we hire a lot from our interns. So if you're our intern and we really like you, we'll bring you on. My assistant, Alyssa, I don't know if you're the one corresponding with us. She was an intern. My social media manager, she was an intern. And my editor for the magazine, she was an intern. So I like to hire within. Because if I have you as an intern and I like what you do, I'd rather just keep you than bring someone else who I have to vet, who I don't know that well, and I don't necessarily know their work ethic. So yeah.
And this is my last question. Well, no, I didn't ask this. Sorry.
Okay.
Actually, Pitt's last question. What are some fun moments that you can recall with starting and going through your journey?
Fun moments. Okay. What was a fun moment? I guess going to Essence Fest. I was so excited. We covered it one year. Going to the red carpet. When we did the red carpet for Nobody's Fool, that was so exciting. We met so many celebrities. And that's when like meeting celebrities was fun for me. Fashion Week, going to London for Fashion Week was fun. Going to Paris for Fashion Week, that was a cool moment for the brand. Landing dope covers. We have a cover coming up that I'm so excited for. What else has been fun? Oh my God, our parties. That's like my favorite part of MEF. Like when we did our Fashion Week parties, I love that. I love Fashion Week. I think that's my favorite part of running a fashion magazine. Like I just love covering the new collections, going to the shows, dressing up, mingling. I love traveling for work, even though I complain, but I love doing it. I love going somewhere for a purpose. And I guess like just the fun. I mean, a lot of my team became like family to me. They make me laugh. Sometimes I'm like, oh God, these people. But then also I'm like, I love these people. So I would say it's been so much fun just creating something from an idea and seeing it manifest. And then also too, just trying new things. Like one of our biggest goals this year, and I'll share with you guys, we really want to go print. So I think that's going to be really fun, like starting a print magazine and seeing how that goes and, all those cool things. And I don't know, like I said, a lot of my people I started off with were friends. So there was a lot of moments that was crazy, but I was with friends and we could laugh about it, and same with my mom. I could laugh about it with her. But I guess truly, like, even though it is hard and it's a lot of work, just running a magazine is really fun. It's really fun.
So how can we connect with you? Because we all love you. So how can we connect with you after this?
Of me? Oh my gosh. I was thinking I came off so businessy on this interview. I'm like, oh my God, they're probably like, this girl is so old. You can connect with me on social, Clubhouse, if you guys want to talk to me directly, Twitter, Instagram. My name on everything is Gabrielle Amani. That's GABRIELLEAMANI. If you're in Atlanta, like come to our events. If you're in New York, come to our events. Yeah, New York in the house. What else? And yeah, just, DM me, text me. I mean, not text me. DM, because I don't even answer that. DM me, text me, and just, yeah, like all that jazz, honestly, I pretty much answer as much as I can. If people comment and stuff, I'm not as active on social as I should be because of the company, but, I'm getting into it myself. And yeah, and then if you can't reach me, you can always reach my assistant or someone from the team because, yeah, I'm here, but I work with some amazing people. So they're here too. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, on behalf of NABJ-CAU, I would like to say thank you for coming and speaking with us today. And
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Also, I'm gonna take like a screenshot, because this was so cute. Hold on. Yeah. How big? I wish I was big too. Okay, smile. Yay, screenshot.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. We all do, honestly.
Amazing interviewer. You did so good. Congrats. Yeah, you did amazing.
I'm gonna definitely be DMing you, because I'm to talk. We need to talk.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you did so good. Oh, someone said definitely my favorite song for. Okay. Oh, okay.
It's the New York energy, we exude greatness, it's what it is.
I love doing interviews. So this was so much fun. Yeah, call me anytime, whatever you guys want to do. I love to talk. So interview me all day. I love interviews. So thank you so much.
No problem. Have a great night.
You too. Bye, guys.
And we're out.